Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Brojection Room podcast. I'm Gaz.
Jack.
And welcome to my first video post-holiday. Firstly, I want to say thanks to Jade, our sister, for filling in for me. Again, another person, been a bit luxurious this month, been away all the time, so we're back fresh. We had a bit of a chat with when I got home, what we want to do going forward with the podcast, which is going to brief very quickly. And it's just simply that we are going to be doing reviews separately to the podcast itself. So if there's a film that Jack particularly likes the look of that I don't, he will watch it, and if he wants to review it and post it on here, he will, and vice versa, because there are some films that I have no interest in, and there's some films that Jack doesn't have interest in, so we will just go back and forth. Like, for example, The Naked Gun, Jack probably want to review that. I won't watch them until I've seen the originals, so Jack will review that, and there might be a film that I might like the look of that Jack doesn't. But if there is a film that we both want to see, and if we feel we want to both talk about it together, we'll do a video, but it will be separate from the podcast. And then on the actual podcast itself, we're going to go a bit more in depth, not like necessarily a spoiler, but just more or less some things that we liked about a film. And if that interests you, then feel free to, watch them, get involved, let us know what you think. And I think that's pretty much it. Cover, yeah. Shall I move on to the next segment? So that's just simply our 4 films that we watched this month that takes our fancy. Well, unfortunately for Jack, I've only got 5 films I've seen this month, being away quite a lot for the month of August. So 2 of them already mentioned on the last episode I was on, which was the underrated and overrated video. I mentioned No Country for Old Men and Drive. I've rewatched those. My thoughts are on that video if you want to go and watch that. Watched 3 westerns. There was Bad Man's River with Lee Van Cleef. Good western. It's not the greatest western of all time, but it was entertaining. Typical spaghetti western. Still fun. Second one was Man with a Gun with Robert Mitchum. Good slow burner. A man looking for redemption. There's a specific word they use in westerns where they come and just sort of pour a bit more order to the town, but they're not sheriffs. So he comes to this. Oh, sorry.
They're like Pinkertons.
No, he's not Pinkerton. He's sort of like I can't remember the name of the term, but he just comes into the town. They pay him $500 to sort the town out, basically, from these horrible corrupt landlords who are driving away, taking all the business, leaving the poor folk. Sort of put a bit of law and order. Really good watch. Shows even for a western, the difference between the rich and the poor, who gains, who loses, etc. It was a good watch. And then finally, on the plane to my holiday to Turkey, I watched Big Jake, the John Wayne's latter stages of his western career. Really good. I really enjoyed that one. It was nice to see him use all his experience in the film and sort of like be the father figure to these young up-and-coming lads. One of them was actually performed by his son, I believe. So that was a really good watch, a really good redemption story. His grandson gets kidnapped. He basically just goes on a trail to go and find these men and bring it back home. So it was a simple plot, really good, interesting father-son dynamic. Good watch. So those are literally the 5 films I've seen in August. I haven't been to the cinema. As I say, I've been away. Bit of an easy one for me this month.
Yeah, by the sounds of it, yeah. Interesting. I always love a bit of westerns. So I'll quickly breeze over what I have watched before. So some of my favourites. Good, the Bad and the Ugly. I'll have to do a separate video for that because it's one of my favourites.
Near masterpiece.
Yeah. Training Day, my favourite Denzel Washington performance. Brilliant. Loved it. I watched True Romance. Again, class. You mentioned it before. Oh, I did. Sorry, it was me. Yeah,
It was you.
rewatched that. That's brilliant. Yeah. And also Once Upon a Time in America. I remember watching that, thinking it's a bit overrated. Rewatched it again, and I loved it. Still, the ending doesn't stick the landing for me. Yeah. But there was loads. I mean, I rewatched Drive and After Hours. They're some of my favourites. But some of the ones that I hadn't watched before that make the list. Bring Her Back, which is obviously new.
That's from the 2 YouTubers, isn't it? Who did Talk to Me? Yeah.
Their YouTube was class, but they have actually turned into like brilliant directors.
Yeah.
Like for original horror, practical effects and everything. But yeah, Bring Her Back. I don't know if you want to watch that, but that might be one for our joint review whenever you get time to see it. Yeah, really good.
Unfortunately, I think it's off the cinemas now because it came out on 26th of July. So I've looked at my local one and it's not on there. So it might be unfortunately that I might have to, rent it. It just came out at the wrong time when I was just super busy and I had no time to go. So it is unfortunate, but quickly touch on that. Yeah, I will watch anything those guys do. Talk to Me was one of the modern masterpieces of horror that we've had. So I will literally go and watch anything those guys do. They're very creative, very original, so full of ideas. And yeah, they're one of the names that you want to keep an eye on going forward in the horror spectrum.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The next one I watched that makes a list together. Yeah, another horror, another recent one as well. Again, won't delve into it too much. I don't know if you're watching it or we'll do a joint review on that one.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think I will watch because I've heard some things about it. Not spoilery, but I have heard some bits about it. And I remember seeing trailers and it did pique me interest.
Yeah, worth it. Worth the watch. Good hour and 50 minutes. Decent.
Good.
Next one on my list is a French one called Diabolique. Well, I butchered that. Obviously not French. In English it's called The Devils, 1955. Okay. It's about this headmaster who has a wife and a mistress, treats them like dirt. They coerce a plan to kill him. So they kill him. They start seeing him about in his boarding school. So that is definitely worth a watch. That caught me off guard. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did. Yeah, it's not horror. It's sort of both. It is a thriller, creepy more than like jump scary. Yeah, I think I put that on my list because like I mentioned when I spoke to Jade last time, I didn't mention this, but I don't really like French films. Like, I know a lot of these cinephiles and movie freaks, they're like, French, like, wave of cinema is like, it's a bit like, it's okay. So,
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you like. I mean, a lot of people might not like Korean films, and we regard Korean movies as some of the best ever made. Like, 2 of my favorite movies of all time, 3, are Korean based. Even 4, 5. Sorry, just thinking for some of the top. Yeah, there's loads. So it's all down to. I don't mind French films personally. I'm not massive on French horrors because I think they do, let's say, overstep the mark. I do like when a horror movie makes me uncomfortable. They tend to go towards the sexual side of things. Things that you don't particularly want to watch, but it's the way they get under your skin. Everybody's different, aren't they, at the end of the day?
Yeah, quickly breeze off my last one. The last one I watched is Boyhood. Almost 3 hours long. Simple story. This lad from a young age into a young man. But what elevated this one is actually recorded over 12 years.
Oh, I've seen
that. Interesting to see this lad. Yeah, interesting seeing this lad from, be literally a boy to, manhood. It's a good story. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good. It's got Ethan Hawke, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette, I think. Yeah, Patricia Arquette, yeah. So, yeah, that's what I've watched. Recommend them all.
Yeah, I think there's some good picks there. There's 1 or 2 that I'm interested in as well. You have to send me the details for it so I can put them on my watch list. So next, what we're going to do is just a couple of any bits of news that took our interest. We literally got 1 or 2 bits that we want to quickly gloss over, get our quick thoughts on, and then we'll get into our main segment and topic of this episode. So my first piece of news, if you don't mind me going first, Jack, is the imminent trailer for 28 Years Bone Temple, due to come out in January, freshly hot off 28 years later. From the feedback that I've heard, that people who have seen the trailer, there's a lot of high optimism for it, which took me by surprise, because one of my main issues with 28 Years Later was the ending. I thought, what are we going to go for tonally in this one? But the reaction for it has been very, very positive. From the trailer. Well, I haven't seen it yet. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know when it's being released, but they said the trailer was imminent, but the people who have seen it have given it nothing but high praise. So, your quick thoughts on the Bone Temple? Are you excited? Are you cautiously optimistic?
Yeah, I'd say I'm optimistic. I did enjoy the last one. It seems like 5 minutes. Well, it's not long since the last one was out, so yeah, they must have filmed it back to back.
Yeah. I believe it's not directed by Danny Boyle. This one, I think it's directed by somebody else. Yeah,
wasn't he the guy you said he did Thor: Love and Thunder?
That's Taika Waititi. I don't think he did it.
Oh, not the Dark World. Oh shit! Anyway,
no, I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember who's directing it. The Marvels. She directed the Marvels.
The Marvels. Trailer. Yeah, it might look good, but I can't judge it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In a nutshell. Yeah.
We don't judge a film by its trailer. We literally see the trailer. If it takes an interest, we'll go and see it. If not, tend to skip it. So my second piece of news, in preparation for The Long Walk, which is coming out on the 12th of September in the UK. Based off a Stephen King novel, Lionsgate have announced a special interactive screening event for The Long Walk. Attendees won't be watching the film from regular theatre seats. Instead, each person will be placed on a treadmill and required to walk at a speed of at least 3 miles per hour for the entire duration of the film. And if at any point a participant slows down or steps off the treadmill, theatre staff will escort them out of the screening. The idea is to mirror the grueling endurance test faced by characters in the story, turning the movie into both a viewing and physical challenge. I don't know about you, I don't want to pay my money to go and watch this walk on a treadmill for nearly 2 hours.
It's good marketing strategy, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. I'd be really pissed off because I know full well I wouldn't be able to do that. So, and that would really annoy me if I got.
Yeah, it would be a shame if you're watching the movie and you go believe 2 miles an hour and you got someone escorting you out, and especially for us like who want to watch the film, you're thinking, hang on a minute, how does this end?
Yeah,
and you're having to
a bit like 4DX.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't think you've ever done 4DX. I mean, it's not for me. I think if I was to do that, I'd have to watch the film first, because I remember watching the recent Planet of the Apes for the first time in 4DX, and I was too focused on not getting floored.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine it'd be a bit like that. It'd take me off it. So, but
yeah, the only time I did 4DX was Dunkirk, but that was a good cinema experience. Really, like honestly, the bullet zipping past you, you feel it. You got water spraying, so it was an experience. It did enhance the experience, but I think personally, I would much rather have sat and actually watched the movie instead of getting sprayed in the face every minute.
Yeah, I think they're good if you've watched it before, because then you know what's coming, and then 4DX might add to it. But yeah, sorry, it's one a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, interesting. Like I said, not for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it personally myself, but that's fair enough. Like for a marketing thing, it's got people talking, and there is a couple of videos on social media that I've seen, and people actually watching the movie on treadmills, and it seems like an interesting experience. I mean, 3 miles an hour is not walking that far. I mean, you had a good pace. It's not like you're fast walking.
Still fucked.
So those are my bits of news. What have you got? What have you got for us?
The one I heard about is they're remaking Scarface. Literally, Jade and I spoke about this one on the last episode, how great it is. I mean, it's already a remake of the 30s one, and it's better than that.
Yeah.
To remake this one, it's I'm like Simon Cowell. It's a no for me. It's just like, no. Like, it doesn't need to be remade. I don't understand these. No. I don't understand these reboots where they're like, you know what, we'll reboot like amazing films. It's almost like they should reboot films that did shit or, you know, missed the mark and improve them, rather than, you know, like I've heard like How to Train Your Dragon, the animation, that's amazing. They rebooted that, or they did a live action. You know, like Harry Potter, rebooting that. You know, it's like, why? What's the point? I heard, like, literally from what I've seen, like Hagrid, Nick Frost. You know, I think he did really well. But you know, Robert Coltrane, I think the original Hagrid. You know, no longer with us. I think he did a great job. And the new Harry Potter kid looks just like Harry Potter. So it's like, why? If you're going to remake something, at least do it totally different. Or
to go on your point, that the Harry Potter series in particular, from what my understanding is that they are more dedicated to the book adaptations, like literally page for page.
Well, I don't know. J.K. Rowling seems to change her mind about things nowadays.
True.
So.
I mean, that is a good point. It's just, I mean, if there's any other news, you literally perfect segue into the main topic of this episode. So unless there's anything else, we can dive straight into this now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So speaking of Harry Potter and the How to Train Your Dragon, we, in sort of honor of the Naked Gun, we thinking about what films that, like, nowadays there are a lot of franchises. There's a lot of remakes, reboots of franchises. So we thought, what movies do we not want to be rebooted? You know, we'd like to say we had Lilo and Stitch had a live action remake. We've had How to Train Your Dragon live action remake, which I boycotted. I don't want to watch it. I don't think you needed to make it. Unfortunately, I did enjoy it. I did see the new Lilo and Stitch with the little sister-in-law Liv. She really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, to be fair, although they did change a few things which I thought was completely unnecessary. And then we've had The Naked Gun, which totally took me off guard. I didn't expect that to come out this year. So it got us thinking, what movies do we not want to see rebooted? So I've got 3. I believe Jack's got 3 as well. So we're just going to go talk about why we don't think they should be rebooted, and if there's any other movies that you think that shouldn't be rebooted, let us know in the comments. Give us your thoughts on it. So my first pick is one of my favorite action movies of all time, and that is Die Hard. Should never be rebooted or remade, whatever you want to call it. The first reason is more of a serious and respectable reason. Bruce Willis is euphasized diagnosis, it would come across as disrespectful, insensitive to his legacy. You know, Die Hard is arguably his most iconic role, and I think it's something that shouldn't be messed with, especially with Hollywood's usual attempts to cash in on franchises. But I can imagine in the future it will be, unfortunately, due to the debate of it being a Christmas movie, which is a bit of a, you know, my view of it is I can see a remake and being released at Christmas and be a massive box office hit waiting to happen, but it's simply it's a classic and should never be touched. Also, you will never get a better Hans Gruber than the legend that is Alan Rickman. The bar has been set too high, and also
and
with you can never replace. I could not imagine anyone else being John McClane other than Bruce Willis. I couldn't see it. Like nowadays, I could imagine like a Glenn Powell being cast as John McClane, and he's not your everyday Joe, which is the point of Die Hard. He's just a normal cop from New York who's been put in a horrible situation. He is, yeah. He
looks normal. And he's not a fucking beautiful man like Glenn Powell is.
Yeah. So it's something that I feel that shouldn't be touched. And also, every character in that movie has a personality. You know them by name. Even the goons, that come up with Hans. You know them specifically. Like, one's a tech guy. There's two brothers. There's like a Latino guy who's does like a little homage to the Scarface, which you just mentioned. It's a classic, and I could never in a million years see him be rebooted. I mean, yes, over the years we've got more Die Hards, and I think the quality sort of, I don't want to say dropped, because I love the first four. I know the second one gets a bit of hate, but I love the first four. The fifth one's one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah, one and three in particular for me. And like just on your point there, I think when they filmed them back in late 80s, 90s, the subject matter that they delved into, specifically the third one with Bruce Willis with his sign. Yeah. That sign. If that was remade nowadays, I mean, they've already edited it, the thing.
I hate everyone, isn't it?
I hate everybody. Yeah. Like, they had, it's ballsy, but it also served the purpose of the story. But I think if that was remade nowadays, they wouldn't even touch that. They wouldn't do anything to do with that. It's like that was a like in the time period in the 90s, like it suited the story and what you had to do. But I think if it was remade nowadays, it'd just be boring. It'd just be CGI shit. Yeah. Like the fifth one, and the fifth one just totally went against what John McClane was about.
Absolutely, 100%.
Like running over people in cars, man.
In cars, yeah. John McClane would be saving every person he possibly can. Like, he put himself on the line for the first three. Even 4 movies to it as well. Cause I love Live Free or Die Hard. I love the fourth one with the technical side of things. I do love it. I love watching that movie. It has its problems, but it's such a good action flick. But more importantly, the first one. I think it'd be very difficult for someone to remake it, and then for me, it's one that shouldn't be touched.
Yep, no, I agree with that one. Yeah. So one of my choices, I'd go with. I'm going to mention the good, the bad, the ugly. I think I'd have to do a whole episode dedicated to that. It's the best Western ever. Everything about it, it's perfect in my eyes. So if they was to reboot that one, I wouldn't give it any support. And like I mentioned, then it had its time in the 60s, and it's still like great today. So there'd be no point in rebooting it. You got like Clint Eastwood, who's just the best, like stare, the best like emotion, like not even emotionless, but like his look says it all. I don't think there'd be not even his son, to be honest, but like there wouldn't be anybody who could match that. And like the characters, like Tuco, Eli Wallach, he's my favourite character in cinema. Like Tuco. Like you go into the good and bad, the ugly for Clint Eastwood, shooting and cowboys and everything. But you come out of it and you're like, well, for me personally, anyway, like Tuco in that is like the best part. And I heard actually Clint Eastwood was like pissed off because how much screen time Tuco got, like Eli Wallach. Yeah. Like his character development in that, it's just amazing. But yeah, so in terms of like rebooting that one, I think they'd breeze over it, they'd glorify like the action, and it'd just be just like modern day spew like crap. Yeah. Like I know I haven't watched the remake of The Magnificent Seven, but
it's good. I like it.
Yeah, but was there any need? Like, was there any need?
No, you know what I mean? There was no need for it, but it was a good watch.
Yeah, and this is what I mean about rebooting things that don't need rebooting.
Yeah.
So
In
this
fairness
would
to
be-
the Magnificent Seven, quickly, in fairness to that movie, it does do things differently from the original, so it tried to do its own thing. But I get the point what you're saying. Like, if there's no need for it, like I'd be the same as you. I would never watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly remake or reboot, because I also think as well, to go add on your point, I think the cultural references, and I think the topic of the time with the Civil War, it wouldn't resonate nowadays. It would, it just, people wouldn't be interested. So I think it would also not do as well. I think people would just go because of the name. And to add on to your point, Lee Van Cleef as well, Clint Eastwood, the guy who plays his name
Eli
evades me.
Wallach.
Eli Wallach. You could never get three actors, to portray those characters. I couldn't think who would play Clint Eastwood's character in that. Like, I could not think of anybody who could replicate that level.
God, nowadays it'd probably be Timothy Chalamet. I'd claw my eyes out if they ever did that, honestly. I don't hate the kid. I say the kid, he's probably older than me. I don't hate him. He's so overrated. And I don't know why I'm saying a random rant about him, but I can imagine them doing it. You know, like Timothy Chalamet, like Austin Butler, who I do prefer, to be honest.
That's the bad. You know who played the ugly? Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro. Yeah, he'll be there. Christ. Fucking way, isn't he?
Yeah. That's a good pick. I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. I don't think The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly shouldn't. It's timeless. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's one of the greatest movies of the 60s. The only thing I take away from you, I want to slightly disagree with, my favourite Western of all time is Once Upon a Time in the West, and then The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. But that's different, there's different reasons why.
At the time. That is a great film.
I've got a Western episode planned, trust me. So look forward to that one. No, that's a great pick. I wouldn't, you know what? I could never imagine them ever doing. And also as well, to go into your point, I think as well, there's Westerns as a dying genre, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is.
It's straight to stream, straight to DVD, but there's some of them now are actually really good, but they just don't get any theatre releases because they just don't have faith in that genre anymore. And it's a crying shame. Anyway, I'll save that for the Western episode. So my next pick, to go off yours, and I think you will not dispute me of this at all, Taxi Driver. I don't think anyone could replicate the dirty, gritty, boots on the ground realism of the Manhattan streets, which is a testament to mine Scorsese. I think, to be honest, it'll just be a monumental challenge for any director. Kind of similar to Bruce Willis as John McClane. I don't think anyone could improve or replicate the performance as Travis Bickle to what Robert De Niro achieved. He gave a frightening performance. You could, and also could a 12-year-old play Iris the way Jodie Foster did. Also and to be honest, they wouldn't. I don't think they would be allowed to get away with that type of character nowadays to a modern audience. I think people would be quite upset or triggered.
Yeah.
And also as well, one of my also other points is, I think Harvey Keitel as the pimp is to me is iconic, and I don't think anybody else could play that role. But also my main points for that would be the fact that the realism, the direction from that movie, the actually going on the streets of New York at night filming, like, you don't get dedication like that. Not saying that people aren't dedicated who make movies, but Scorsese and a crew walking around with a camera at night in some of the roughest areas of Manhattan. You couldn't do that nowadays. People would be too protected. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think you couldn't get that anymore.
Yeah, and Robert De Niro actually did like a few shifts as a taxi driver late at night to
he did,
for realism, to get an idea of what it's like. Yeah, again, like you say, they wouldn't get away with half the shit they did in that. And like, again, this will be mentioned a lot, but there'd be no point, because like, especially with Taxi Driver, it gets referenced so many times. People do their own, like, you're talking to me. That it happens like pretty much every film, and it gets referenced a lot, so there'd be literally no point in doing that.
Yeah, I think as well, maybe because I'm a bit biased towards Scorsese, I think you can never, this is glazing Scorsese. I don't think any director could replicate just from a camera shots alone, the loneliness that Travis has throughout the film. One of my favourite shots in that movie is he's on the phone trying to talk to the love interest, and then the camera just sort of pans away and it's just in the corridor, and you just hear this conversation, and you can't help but feel sorry for him, but it just encapsulates the loneliness of his life. And you can't help but feel sorry for him, but obviously his actions later on in the film are very questionable. But I don't think any director, it would just be copy and paste. Like, they couldn't do their own flair. Like, you could argue to me that Nolan could do it better. I would really argue that I don't think you could, because they're obviously different style of directors. But to replicate a shot like that with no dialogue, you just hear just hear him in the corner having this conversation. But it's a visual storytelling without you having to really understand it. You just get the vibe from a shot alone. I don't think there is any director that could do that compared to how Scorsese did it.
Yeah, and again, I think like with the history that it had as well, it was like 79, I want to say, Taxi Driver.
76,
even earlier. You know, with the messages with the Vietnam War, you know, like
PTS, yeah.
Yeah, like the Vietnam War ended like, oh god, now I'm putting myself on spot, like 70s, late 60s. Yeah. And where America unofficially lost. That's why it's like, I wouldn't say my favourite war, it sounds a bit sadistic, but it's the one that piques my interest the most because it's like the unofficial war that America lost. You know, the don't
never admit it. Yeah.
You know, it had that literally fresh off the Vietnam War. They wouldn't be able to replicate like the message and, you know, people's outrage and everything like that that are conveyed in that film as well. So, yeah, that'd just be a total miss if they redid that one.
It would, yeah.
Yeah, and that, swiftly moving on to my point for remaking is Pulp Fiction.
You know what? I nearly picked that.
Yeah, in particular, like, I mean, any Tarantino film for me, obviously, is my favourite, but Pulp Fiction in particular because, you know, it's his highest rated one, everyone knows it. If anybody tried to mess with Tarantino's, like, films, it'd just be set up for failure straight away. And I know, like, people, a lot of, like, directors are influenced by him, which is fine, obviously.
Yep.
You know, he gets a lot of references anyway in all these films, you know. But, like, what people enjoyed in that one was, you know, the storytelling, how it cut away, and they're, like, not linked together, you know, they're separate, and then it all, you know, concludes by the end. Also, like, the pop culture references in that film as well.
Scoring them as well.
Imagine that, right? Then pop culture references nowadays. It'd be shit. It'd be absolutely terrible. It'd be like, you know, oh, you've seen this TikTok, oh, they did viral dancing in the background and all that kind of crap. And, you know, it'd be like, Jules identifies as a fridge or something. It'd be like, nah, I'm sorry, but nah. I'd just be like, no. Stay clear away from that, please. It'd be awful. But again, like, you know, with the actors in there as well. That cast is amazing. Like one of the best ones. You know, Bruce Willis, Samuel Jackson, John Travolta, Christopher Walken, Harvey Keitel, Bing Rames, you know, Uma Thurman. Class. Tarantino? Yeah. Because some people say it's the weakest part, but fuck it, man. Yeah.
Nah, I loved it when he popped up. I think it was hilarious.
Yeah.
You mentioned about like interwoven stories. If you were to do that now, it's nothing original because Tarantino already did it back then, so why would you want to do it again? And people try and do it a lot more nowadays, so again, there's no originality. It would, again, like I mentioned earlier, it would literally just be a copy and paste. I find it difficult because I don't think it's fair enough if you want to imitate directors. There's no problem doing that because if you're inspired by them, like we're inspired by Scorsese, Tarantino, you know, Christopher Nolan, just a few examples. You know, you can imitate, but then to just straight up replicate and just copy, it's nothing new. You know what I mean? So I think Pulp Fiction is one of those where you have to leave it as it is because it set the bar and it inspired so many actors and filmmakers nowadays. So if you were to even touch it, you know you're setting yourself up for failure. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I remember like Tarantino. He said that he basically copied films, like some films. He blatantly said like he copied them. So it's a difficult argument to make. So yeah, he copied like scenes like the start of The Good, Bad, the Ugly, Van Cleef. His character, it's literally. But it's not. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't know why he said copied because I don't really see him as copying it. It's like heavily inspired. Like that start, his character like mimics Christopher Waltz's character in Inglourious, where it's like literally he walks in, the presence is all on him. He's the the guy in the shot and everything. But I guess copy like inspiration. Yeah, that's fine. Like, well, again, this is topic one about like for reboots and purposes and remakes. Like, no, forget it.
To agree with you, you have, you know, we talk about imitating and the difference between imitating and replicating. Tarantino was very inspired by Sergio Leone, you know, so it's, if he wants to imitate him or be inspired by him, that's completely fine. But then I think my worry for any Tarantino movie, like you said, it literally would just be a copy and paste. I'm never against reimagining. That's the difference. I don't mind that. But if you're just going to remake or reboot something, then it just simply will not work. But I think Pulp Fiction is on a pedestal of pop culture now, so I don't think it would never be remade. I don't think Tarantino's movies would ever be touched. So I think we're quite lucky in that regard. So to jump from that to mine, my final one, completely a 180, but I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with me with this one. Mrs. Doubtfire. And there's 2 words, Robin Williams. There is no other actor that could replicate the unique comedic timing and heartfelt performance. He is Daniel Hillard. He is the heart and soul of the film, and any attempt to replicate or reimagine would fall so flat. And I also think film lovers would boycott it in defiance and love to Robin Williams. It's, again, I mentioned earlier, very similar to Bruce Willis. I feel there is a theme here for me with my picks, to be totally honest. It'd be disrespectful, to his iconic work he did for this film. And I also find the premise would not work with a modern audience. So you have the core plot relies on a narrative that is probably less acceptable today. A man dresses an older woman to get close to his children is a premise that could raise serious problems. The deception and gender roles, today. I know there would be a specific demographic that would take offense to it nowadays because, we're a bit of a snowflake generation now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Mrs. Doubtfire. It'd be something else. I don't know what. It would just be. I don't want to.
It would be They Them Doubtfire.
Yeah, They Them Doubtfire.
I find it very difficult to see a reboot being nothing short problematic for Mrs. Doubtfire.
But yeah, it's like a typical, not typical, but again, like we always mention with these, it's like it was a piece of its time in the 90s. Like 90s kids growing up with that film. I think there's like 90% of people that I know love it. It's class. It's just a piece of its time, and everybody who grew up with that references. Everybody references. Help is on the way, dear. Everybody.
I do that more than once.
Yeah, it's quotable, man. They wouldn't stick the landing if they did it, especially like it being Robin Williams. I mean, even if they cast like anybody else in that role back then, I don't think it'd be as good. It's just because Robin Williams' charisma in that.
He just elevates any script that he's given.
Any script,
and I think he touched the hearts of so many people, including us growing up. I think the fact that you see anybody trying to play his character in a remake of that, you just instantly jump on the defense, and I wouldn't see a problem. I'd feel sorry for the people who are trying to make it because they obviously love the movie and want to do a reimagining, but I strongly think that nowadays you couldn't do it with a modern audience because too many red tape, You can't have a man dressed as a woman. What if he's a transgender? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many obstacles you've got to avoid, and what would be your target audience? A family-friendly movie, and yet some now people would take offense to that. Well, it's not because it gives the wrong message about men, dressing up as women. You could just see it happening, and and also as well the message behind what I love so much about Mrs. Doubtfire is the message behind it, that they learn to, accept what it is. They struggled throughout the film, like this family going through this divorce and split and going through this, awful thing in their lives, and them trying to figure it out. And then by the end of the movie, they figure it out, and it's just the message behind it going, his little speech at the end moves me to tears every time because, just, saying that, it doesn't mean just because they don't love each other, doesn't mean that they love you. Like, the message behind it is that the parents would do anything for your children. And the way he gave that message, it just ruins me every time. So that's what I mean. You can't do it without Robin Williams. He just sets that bar far too high. You could not have any other actor for me that could do that role. So it'd be one for me. I would never ever touch Mrs. Doubtfire. What I will say though is it's fine on it's a musical. They're now doing it as a musical, and I'd be interested to see that, but making a remake of a movie for it, if the same premise is a no-go for me.
So musicals in theatre, or is it actually going to be
in a theatre?
Yeah, theatre stuff. Yeah, it's fine. But stay clear of that one because you can't touch that one. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Yeah. So my pick would be Memories of Murder.
Oh wow, that's a very interesting pick. You talking like an American remake of it?
Yeah, it's specifically like an American one because True Detective sort of like, it's like the American version of that, especially the first season. I don't know if you ever watched it. It's one of the many few TV shows I have watched. The first season was amazing.
Never seen any True Detective.
Yeah, the first one's good. Second one's okay. I really enjoyed the third one. I haven't watched the fourth one. I think they're making a fifth one apparently with Nicolas Cage. So that'd be interesting.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of that one, Memories of Murder, it's one of my favourite Korean films. We have mentioned I love for Korean stuff. That film, it's based off a true story as well. So it'd be disrespectful for one, but also like the aura and the the cinematography and everything about it. It's just, it captures everything it wants to. It's like dark. It sets the tone up and haunting, and the soundtrack, man. If we ever made a podcast episode about soundtracks, like this would be up there. Yeah. Like the actual song "Memories of Murder." You say I'm heartless, man. It almost brings me to tears, man. Memories of Murder, like that specific one. It captures everything the film tries to do. Well, does in that song. But yeah, like if they tried to make that into an American one, it'd just be like shocking. But it'd be nothing like new. It'd be just totally basic, and it'd just be swept under the rug with like all the other like stuff that it follows. So yeah, in terms of it, like the Korean version, it gets everything it wants to get right. And like the last shot where
I was just about to say,
you know, literally the detective is staring at you because like they never captured the murderer, so he's like looking at the camera because they thought like the person who did these murders was watching this film.
Yeah,
you know, they won't be able to do that.
It's a masterpiece of a film. I say that last shot just haunts me, and also as well that film is elevated by the performances in that film, and I don't think American actors could. I'm not saying American actors are bad, though. There's some incredible actors. Don't get me wrong, but the themes throughout that film of the desperation, it's
cultural as well, like.
Very cultural, yes, I agree. Yeah. I don't think you could do that in an American version because it would be run of the mill. They think it might be this weird, creepy hillbilly or something like that. It just wouldn't have the same, the feel. Like you could look at everybody in that film and you think anyone could do it. Whereas I think now in the American versions there are stereotypes.
Yeah, as well. And also, like story-wise, they wouldn't be able to do it in America because they sent off the sample to America because they didn't have the technology in Korea for that. So how would they do that in America? You know what I
mean? Yeah.
So we were totally pointless.
Some freaking excellent picks here today. I don't know. We sound very, brown nosy for us. Let us know what you think. Are there any films that you would say should never be rebooted? I mean, I was going through a list earlier of films. I was thinking, nope, that shouldn't be rebooted. That should be rebooted. We do have an idea for a future video for, discussion or what films do we think should be rebooted. Because one of the ones I originally was going to put on here, and then me being a div, I forgot that it actually had been remade. I had watched it, was The Crow. And I thought, you dick, it's already been, I watched the bloody thing. And it was fucking awful.
But it just backs your points up, didn't it? It doesn't need why?
No need for it. It was perfect to the first time. No need to be touched. I mean, we do have an idea for making of video game adaptations, what shouldn't be made as into video games or what would be good as a movie. There's some ideas we got, so if anybody wants to see that, just let us know. We'll put something, we'll debate and have a chat and get some recommendations down. And I think we made some fantastic picks, if I do say myself. Yeah, I think Memories of Murder is a really good one. I think most Korean films should never be remade, but also shout out to one of our favourite horror movies, well, one of mine, Wreck. The Spanish horror, fantastic. American version, one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen.
Quarantine.
Quarantine,
Should have quarantined it, put in the fucking box, and buried it.
Unfortunately, it made a sequel called The Terminal. That was even worse.
The Terminal?
It was good. No, that's, the virus leaves the building and someone gets infected, but it randomly gets to someone who's going to an airport and they get stuck in a terminal. But then people started turning into mutated like rats or something like that. It was so fucking awful. So of course he had the found footage of them having the camera, so there's night vision shots, etc. So anyway, off tangent. So the last bit that I've got planned for you, Jack. So in honor of this, I had a look at what's being rebooted, remade, whatever you want to call it. I've got 7 films, and get your quick thoughts on them. See what you think. Whether you think it could work in a modern audience or as a modern film. And then if anyone else watches, drop a comment, let us know what you think. Would these movies be good, or would you think these would be bad? So the first one that is in the pre-production is Sunset Boulevard. Glenn Close is playing Norma Desmond. And I personally think this Norma Desmond, she's the lead, the woman who's like tries to get back into the fame of Glenn Close. Glenn Close.
Okay, right.
Yeah. I think it could work. The depiction of it mentions about like film, you have your moment in the limelight and then it comes out. You could do that with a modern audience, regardless if it's in the 50s or the modern day, you still got that theme of desperation of wanting to be that star again. You could do it with a modern twist.
Yeah, but I mean, like they had that with like the Substance, the same sort of premise. But obviously,
I haven't seen that yet.
Obviously, like Sunset Boulevard contains no monsters or anything like that. But yeah, like that. I mean, I like that sort of story, like plot element where they want to be relevant. But I just think the 50s was an interesting era. So I think if they like try to update it nowadays, I don't know if it'd stick the land the same. I mean, it's interesting. It's not one of those where I'm like flat out like no. They changed. I mean, it could be interesting. Depends how heavily they lean into like modern day crap and like the element in it. Like,
then you can also to jump on the modern element, which I think would be a good element, is the use of social media nowadays. There could be a video that involves this woman as to why her career spiraled. So she's nothing anymore. So you could use that element, and then it gives that social commentary of how people perceive media. And how it can ruin someone's career that they've worked so hard for, destroyed by one 30-second clip. There's story elements like that I think that could work for Sunset Boulevard. You know what I mean?
Try to take my personal point out of it. Yeah, it could work. Yeah, that's one that could work for like modern day audiences. Yeah, okay.
Cool. So the next one is one I am totally against. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. And it stars, you ready? Kevin Hart and Will Smith.
Oh, God.
It's fucking awful. The premise, it just sounds. It just said. I mean, on IMDb it says the remake of classic 1987, where two people meet on a plane. Basically, it's exactly the same thing from what I've read.
Nah, nope. Just now. I mean, Kevin Hart, like, I think he's overstayed his welcome now. Like,
he's one-dimensional.
Yeah, what I saw of him doing stand-up, I thought he was quite funny. But then the first few things I saw him doing film, it was like, it was quite funny. I remember seeing him in bloody, what's that superhero movie, Dragonfly, Drake Bell. That's the first one I saw him in. Yeah. And he was like his friend in that. And, I mean, that film is shit, but it's quite entertaining. But, yeah, the more and the more you see him, it's like, okay, I've had enough of it. It'd be interesting to see him do something different. It'd be like Adam Sandler when he did Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
He actually does have that like side of him where he can do like, but for that.
Yeah.
Again, like what you mentioned, like John Candy, like he's no longer with us. Like he was great in that. Brilliant. You know, he was like he portrayed like the lonely man in that, like to a T.
Yeah, and the bit at the end where his wife actually passed, I freaking cried, man.
Yeah, it's like,
it was so sad. It was so heartfelt.
Yeah, I mean, bloody hell! Like, can you see Kevin Hart or Will Smith pulling that off?
No.
Like,
I mean,
Will Smith and permission of his wife, man.
Well, one of the reasons why, I mean, you talk about boycott it, and one of the reasons why, forget the fact, Planes, Trains, Automobiles is one of my favorite comedies ever, but the idea of having Kevin Hart playing John Candy's character or his interpretation, that sets me off. But also, I boycott Will Smith since the Oscar slap. I don't want to watch anything of his. Everyone tells me that the new Bad Boys are quite good. I have no interest because he should have been stripped from his Oscar. You don't go. Sorry, different video, different tangent. But I'm not a Will Smith guy anymore. So for me, it's already a no. But the fact that you put Will Smith and Kevin Hart and do a remake of one of the greatest comedies, not just from the 80s, but I would argue I'd put it in my top 10. It's just a massive no-no for me. But it's in pre-production, and the person who's directing it, I've never seen her do anything. She's done a couple of things, but she hasn't, judging from her IMDb, she hasn't done much, which doesn't really bode well either.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to judge it straight away, but from what I've read, it's a massive no-no for me.
Yeah. No.
So my next one is a film I haven't seen. I say I'm a Western guy, but I haven't seen this one yet. And because there's no really much excuse, I just haven't got around to watching it yet, but I really do. It's The Wild Bunch. And so far, the casting has been Peter Dinklage and Jamie Foxx. And there's not much information after that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, The Wild Bunch, it's class.
I really want to watch it.
Oh, yeah, Wild Bunch is awesome. Yeah, again, all right, I take my obviously my opinions, but, trying to, like you mentioned, it's good in a way because we want Westerns to be not relevant, but just to be back on the screen would be nice. So, for one of the popular ones, it is popular, yeah.
Yeah, it's regarded as one of the best Westerns. Yeah.
Yeah, in that regard, yeah. Yeah, for modern day audiences, it'd be a tick in the book.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'd be like, just watch The Wild Bunch. Just watch the original. The original, it's class. It's bloody. because they actually use like practical effects like blood squibs and on location or whatever. I don't think they'll be doing that in the like remake. I'd imagine it'd be CGI blood. I'd love to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
But I can imagine it'd be toned down. It'd be like funny. I mean, the Wild Bunch is funny to be fair, but like it would just want to hit. It wouldn't hit. But again, I would for it to resonate to modern day audiences, it could be interesting. I think Peter Dinklage is a interesting choice. That's different. With Jamie Foxx, I mean, I do like Jamie Foxx, but he's done Django and that, so it's a bit.
I was just about to say he's proven that he can do it in a Western. Yeah. I mean, I haven't got much to say on it because I haven't seen it, but my only worry would be I hope it's not straight to streaming or straight to a DVD. I'd hope it gets a theatrical. That's my only worry. It doesn't say whether it's getting a theatrical release. It's just saying that it's in development.
Who's directing?
So,
does it say?
I didn't see who's directing. I know there's 2 writers, but it never said nothing about a director, unless it's the information not like updated. But no, so that's one I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm just hoping it gets a theatrical release because, like we just said, we want to see more westerns on the big screen. So hopefully that could be one that they decide to may get audience back on seat. So this next one, Jack, you are not going to like. I'm telling you now for a fact. An American Werewolf in London. Its production status is in development, and the plot, from what I've seen here, is as she travels through the UK with her boyfriend, Alex is bitten by a werewolf in this remake of the 1981 classic. Okay,
so it's basically it's just boyfriend and girlfriend, and that's it.
I gotta be honest. When I saw this, I thought, what? Like why? You don't need to, because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. It's going to be a CGI wolf with CG, no practical effects. It's going to be It's just going to be all CG'd, or just a background shot of the massacre. Because one thing we love about the original is the practicality of it, and you just know that that's going to take it all away. It remind me of the that Doctor Who episode with David Tennant with the werewolf. That sort of level of CG.
Christ.
I can't see practicality in this movie.
It's going to be shit. So, like, what they're going to do with the nurse then? What's going to do?
As good as mine.
Yeah. There's absolutely no need for it. Man. Like, just watch the original. It's class. It still holds up, I think. The practical effects and the actors and the characters, the locations, and also the batshit crazy element where they're like Nazis with guns, like shooting. You know what I mean? It's just like, obviously they ain't going to include that, are they?
No, they can. I can imagine they would do some more modern cultural references instead of having that element to it. I mean, this is all speculation. This is not facts. This is just our opinions. But I think because we hold an American Werewolf in London in such high regard, I can't see nothing but massive failure. And I'm also getting worried that would this resonate with modern audiences? Would people want to see werewolf? I mean, yes, we've had a couple of good werewolf movies. Well, it's like good, mid to decent werewolf movies. Would people go and see this on the big screen and generate hundreds of millions? I can't see it.
I'm so happy to.
I can't know. I want to say that I want it to do well naturally because you're looking for the title. You want it to do well, but I don't think it will do well because people like us that won't go to see it because we boycott it and we'll just go and watch the original instead.
But if it makes millions and millions, the Hollywood and like everybody's gonna be like, all right, we'll just remake. Look at my DVDs. We'll remake Back to the Future next, and then it's like and then it spirals on and on and on, and then like the originality's gone. You know what I mean? It would be literally just like, oh, that made money. What else? Shit after one after the other.
I
don't know why they can't just release. Like they have to. They do it. To be fair, just re-release them in cinema. They just re-release the American Werewolf in London. I'd watch the shit out of that again in the big screen. Even though I've watched it like numerous times.
I haven't seen it on the big screen. I would love to see the original on the big screen.
Obviously, as I was born, I watched recently like Jurassic Park on the big screen. I watched The Exorcist, bloody Space Odyssey. Like all those ones that like this generation like missed. They will go and watch it. I don't agree with that.
To agree with you, as of recording, the 50th anniversary of Jaws is this year. That's currently playing on the big screen. I'm trying to go and see that this week because Jaws is one of my favourite movies of all time. I would love to see that on the big screen.
Yeah.
So I do agree. I agree with your points. So I'm just hoping I think it's because of the title. Naturally, and if it's a new horror movie, you'd want it to do well. But as recent has been proven with I Know What You Did Last Summer, that hasn't done very well at the box office. So it does give me the element that it could follow the same track. But I'm hopeful. But this is something that I can tell, as you can probably tell by watching me and Jack, we're not really keen on this.
Nope. And
So-
I have a tanks. Sorry.
No, that's fine. The next one I've got is I think you've seen it. I'm going to say you have. I think I picked it because I just thought it was quite a little bit interesting. So it's the Thomas Crown Affair. It's
Steve McQueen.
Yeah, the Steve McQueen. Yeah, it's the third attempt. I didn't know there was a 93
Yeah, there was
remake.
another one, wasn't there?
Yeah, but this stars and is directed by Michael B. Jordan, which I thought was quite interesting. Because I mean, he directed Creed 3, which everyone really enjoys. I haven't seen any of the Creeds because I want to watch the Rockies because I've only seen Rocky 1. Shoot me. Okay, sorry, I'm sorted. But you know what? I think after Sinners, Michael B. Jordan, he's the man of the hour. This year he's done really well. So I'll see. I remember I enjoyed the Thomas Crown Affair. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I did enjoy it. So I'm hoping with the modern, I think this would work for a modern audience. For you could do this sort of story in a modern day setting. So I would be up for this one. Hopefully, third time's the charm, because the second adaptation didn't do particularly well, and believe it or not, I don't think the Steve McQueen version did very well either. I think people regard it as one of his worst movies, but there is another movie that's regarded as off tangent. Yeah, so I thought that was just a bit of an interesting pick. I think had it not been starred and directed by Michael B. Jordan, I probably wouldn't have picked it, but the fact that he's attached to it, it piques me interest.
Yeah, that's one that I'm not really that fussed. It's already been remade, and if they want to remake it again, and like you say, because it's Michael B. Jordan, it could be interesting. Yeah. It's weird because I've seen the remake in The Running Man, and I've never watched The Running Man with Schwarzenegger in. So it's a bit of a weird argument for me, where I'm against reboots, but then at the same time, some of them work, because The Thing is a reboot, like a remake. There's loads. So it's weird. It's a weird argument, really, because as long as sometimes as long as they're done right, then go for it. But I'm more of the argument where it's why don't we remake shit films that had potential that just totally didn't stick.
You know what? I was just about to say that. And also as well, I think if you're going to remake something, you should keep the core of what the film is about, but then just add your own little stuff to it. Like, you could argue a lot of people's criticism of Alien Romulus is the fact that it's too deared to the original Alien and Aliens, but it did have its own little, sprinkle. It had its own identity, which differentiated it. Yeah, that's probably a poor example. But
I think they're trying to get back on track with Alien, because the last few films were a bit shit.
Definitely more than shit. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's probably a poor example to think of. But I do think that if you were to remake something, do it, but just give your own little spin on it at the same time. Give us something a little bit different. Yeah. But I do agree, bad movies should get rebooted, remade and made better.
That's the topic on its own, isn't it?
100%. We can name a few on top of my head. Yeah. So 2 more. We'll try and wrap this up. Yeah. There is an American remake of The Raid being made. Hey, that right? No interested in that either. I think The Raid is one of we mentioned Korean films quite often throughout this episode. The Memories of Murder, The Raid is one of my favorite action movies of all time. It's in my top 3. So don't ever touch it, because you will not replicate. You know what? If you want to do an American remake, just watch Dread. Practically the same movie. Yeah. No need for it.
And that remake was better. So it's weird. Sometimes it works.
Yeah, funny enough. Yeah, it does. Sometimes it does work. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say about this, because there's not much information. It just says based off the Raid Redemption by Gareth Edwards in 2011. That's all it says so far. We're going to have a squad that's going to go try and get this the top floor, the 30th floor of this tower, to try and get this kingpin. So it's literally going to be a copy and paste. But what you're going to do, I'll give you him as an example. You're going to have Glenn Powell doing martial arts for a night for nearly 2 hours. Like, I don't buy it. Korean one, there's just it did something monumental with his action set pieces, and it is one of the best action movies ever made. So it is brutal as well. No need for it. So, you're going about American Werewolf. This one, I am just totally against it.
Yeah.
And the last one is Rise of the Living Dead, which is a prequel to Night of the Living Dead, and it's directed by George C. Romero. I don't know if that's a relation to George R. Romero.
It's got to be, surely.
I would have thought so. I just didn't know. I didn't want to say
convenient.
Where. It is a bit convenient, but I tried to look him up, and he just says that he does a lot of horror movies. But everything I've looked up of him, it says no relation to it. It doesn't say he's not related. There's just nothing to back up me thinking that he's related to it somehow. Interesting concept. I don't know what they necessarily could do with it. And there's not, again, we're just going off spitballing here, because there wasn't a lot of information. But it just seems like a bit unnecessary. I don't know how the virus started. Are we interested in how the virus started?
Yeah,
not
sometimes
really.
it's interesting not knowing.
How it just happens. Like, that's one of the reasons why I love the original one so much, because they go to the grave to go and visit one of their relative, and then that weird creepy guy walks to her, and that's how you start the movie. And it's intense and creepy, but yeah, there's only one image of it. It's a guy hanging out the window of a car with a shotgun. So I don't have much expectation for it, but I thought I'd bring it up because you mentioned in a previous episode you love Georgia Romero's older zombie work. So I thought I'd bring that one up for you.
That could be interesting because it's a prequel, so it's not really a reboot.
Yeah. It's a bit like The Thing now. It's a reboot prequel.
Wow, yeah, well, God, every time, yeah. But no, that could be interesting. I don't think I have too much to say about it.
No, because I mean, there's not much there's not a lot of information about it, but it just seems like, again, with we going about westerns, the zombie genre is dying. Like, not many people are interested in zombie movie. It has been badly outdone.
Yeah, but I mean, it's difficult really because there's only so much you can do like zombies, and like loads of people were like making zombie films, and there was no originality. I mean, even the guy like the Godfather of like George Romero I mentioned before, he like does some of the best zombie films. Even he, like near the end of his filmography, that was shit.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot. I do think there's a lot of fatigue in modern audience for zombies. I mean, we've got The Walking Dead. It's got 3 spin-offs at the minute.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's not doing particularly great. Apparently they are good, but there's not many people watching them because no one's interested anymore.
Later and stuff.
Yeah, that's done well, but I think what that film did so well, it didn't focus on the zombies and the outbreak. It focused on the human side of things, which I thought was very good. So maybe they focused on that a bit more. I mentioned it on the previous earlier episodes of The Walking Dead. Did extremely well with focusing on characters in an apocalypse, but this one, we'll see. You'll keep an eye on it. All these movies I have had added onto my watch list, so I will be keeping an eye on them, see what the development stages are. So by the sounds of it, I mean, for me personally, I'm up for the Thomas Crown Affair Sunset Boulevard remakes. I'm totally against Planes, Trains and Automobiles, American Werewolf in London, and The Raid. And I could probably say the same for you. Although you're not particularly keen on Sunset Boulevard.
But the idea of a remake?
Yeah, with Glenn Close.
Yeah, let's say I like the film, like the original one. Yeah, like I say, it could. Yeah, I mean, like split in the middle. It's a bit like, maybe. Yeah, just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, and finally, the Wild Bunch, we're hoping it has a theatrical release and not straight to stream. So I think I really enjoyed that. I think it's interesting to see our views of how cinema is made nowadays, and if anyone else feels the same way, or they have a different opinion, or give us your thoughts on it. What films do you want to see or not see? In this case, rebooted. And I'm sure in a later episode we'll be talking about films we would maybe like to see a reboot or a reimagining, as they like to say nowadays. And leave us your thoughts and comments in below. Like and subscribe. Please follow us on TikTok. We are on Instagram. We are debating where to start our Facebook page, but there are reasons for that why we haven't. Follow us on all social media platforms, and again, let us know your thoughts. And also, how bad would Planes, Trains and Automobile remake be? Because I think it'd be fucking shite.
Yeah.
So I'm Gaz. Thank you so much for watching. That's Lighted Angel Jack, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care.